Hey everybody out there, Chris and Mike here, and welcome back to another Dark Avenger Comic Book review. The books we are reviewing in this video were released from Marvel Comics on May 28, 2014, the final week of May. And guys, we had less Marvel than DC this week, which is actually a bit of a surprise considering all the books that we're getting from Marvel, but there were some really good books this week. Nothing to, I don't know, unless you have something negative to say about any of your books, but my books, I really have nothing negative to say this week. So
no, me neither. I mean, they were pretty good.
So let's waste no time and get right into it. We're starting off with the Disney book. This is the final part. This is Disney Kingdom Seekers of the Weird, issue number 5 of 5, the grand finale. You have the kids, Max, versus the Shadow, Council, and the Wardens. It's Max and Melody, and basically things are looking pretty grim at the beginning of this issue. I mean, the Grim Reaper's about to be released, and basically, like I said, all hell's breaking loose. But Max and Melody don't give a crap. They jump right into the fray. You guys saw this from, if you guys check out previews, the previews go up until this point, as a matter of fact. And Max and Melody, they go after the Wardens, they go after the Shadow Council, they go after everyone, and then finally they free their parents, and the parents admit to the head warden that, yeah, this was a plan we had, and unfortunately, things kind of went, what do you call it? Haywire, yeah. Okay. Grim Reaper's released. He takes the immortality away from everybody in the Shadow Council, and I'm not going to spoil how, but basically Max ends up trapping him back in the coffin, long story short, and things kind of move back to normal. So it's really a lot of action in this book, very little, there is a nice amount of dialogue, but not like a super amount of dialogue.
So this is the conclusion, or are they going to
This is the conclusion. No, the next Disney story, let's see if there's an advertisement in here, I doubt it. Oh, yes there is. Disney Kingdom's Figment is coming in June.
Oh.
So next month we're getting Figment.
Like
for this month.
Imagination.
I should say this month. We are in June now. So Seekers of the Weird ends. Figment begins. Your turn to get the Disney story. So Figment is yours. Because I got Seekers of the Weird.
That's like all of a sudden because I did okay.
I thought this was a decent story. Would I say go out of your way and buy it? No, but at the same time, it did have a very good feel to it. It was an interesting story, and I'd say if you have the extra money, I would definitely recommend Seekers of the Weird. It was a really good book for what it was worth. Issue 2 or 3 had a really big hiccup in the artwork, in my opinion, but things cleaned up in the last couple of issues, so I would definitely say give it a shot. And Figment, I'm definitely looking forward to hearing what you think of Figment. This book I'm dropping, but not because of the book. Inhuman issue number 2. Now here's the thing, I like this issue. I really did. I thought the story is interesting. You know, you get Dante now has his Inhuman powers. However, he can't control them. And Medusa shows up. She takes him back to the kingdom. And she has, I forgot what his name was, but there's a person who wants to train Dante to control his powers. The mother's still dead. The sister's kind of going a little bit crazy. And we still have people that are fighting, or AIM, who's looking to take up any Inhuman artifact that's left in New York from the explosion. Yeah. And they're also searching for their own Inhumans. The cocoons.
Right.
Captain America shows up. He offers Medusa and the Inhumans assistance with not only himself but with S.H.I.E.L.D. as well. Medusa doesn't want his help. In the end, she says that she'll deal with it herself. The artwork's really good in this book. It ends really well. It ends with this guy saying he knew what Black Bolt was planning, and that Medusa's actually screwing up Black Bolt's plan. But a lot of other stuff happened in this book. I would definitely say check it out. The only thing is, and this is the reason why I can't tell you if I will or won't be getting issue 3 of Inhuman, is the delays. This book, I believe, was only delayed a couple of weeks. The next book is delayed about a month.
Wow.
So I'm kind of disappointed with the way that Marvel is handling their Inhuman title. I mean, the whole point of Infinity was to lead into Inhuman, and now we're kind of left waiting still for this series to progress.
Right.
And I kind of, I want to see the story. The story has promise. The artwork's really good. I honestly don't understand why there are so many delays. I really would like to see Inhumans continue forward. Maybe I'll try issue 3 if it's a light week. I mean, this wasn't a light week, and I gave issue 2 a shot, so I really am enjoying it. If it gets some consistency, I definitely will be on board with it. But if it's going to keep getting delayed every other, month, then I'm going to forget issue by issue what's going on.
Yeah, we were talking about delays a while ago about, forgetting about the book. It's really something.
Cover is definitely misleading. Guardians of the Galaxy issue number 15. Captain Marvel was actually not in this issue whatsoever. I'm going to make triple sure right now, but I know that she did show up in the previous issue. So basically the Guardians are separated now. Rocket Raccoon is a prisoner to the Kree. Gamora is a prisoner to the Badoon. Drax is a prisoner to the Shire, and Groot is a prisoner to the oh god, what's the? I'll go back and I'll continue the story to the oh god, the Brood, and of course Peter Quill in the last issue is a prisoner of his father's. So the Guardians are separated throughout the galaxy, and they're prisoners to all different things, and things are looking very, very grim for them. We also have a little insight on what's going on with Flash Thompson Venom. He gets captured by, Skrulls. So everybody's having problems. I don't know why it says, and now Captain Marvel, because Captain Marvel didn't even show up in this issue at all.
Are you sure maybe it wasn't cover B or cover
No, this is
C?
cover. This is the regular cover. I don't get anything that's not the regular cover. The artwork in this book is spectacular as always. The thing is though, it just shows you all the Guardians basically going through hell and being prisoners. The ending, however, was really good. It goes back to Peter Quill, Spartax for 2 pages, where he's willing to make a deal with his dad. He'll leave the Spartax alone, basically, just to free him and the Guardians, and things aren't going so well, so he basically escapes. And that's where it's to be continued. I want to show some artwork. This is a good page. It's a page of Groot. Artwork's really good. Story's promising. This issue basically shows everybody in the Guardians of the Galaxy in their separate places in the universe right now, basically being tortured, imprisoned, going through hell, whatever. Captain Marvel was not in this issue at all. This was a very misleading cover. I believe next issue is when Captain Marvel's making her debut. Maybe it was a mix-up with the covers. Maybe this cover was supposed to be next issue's cover. But Captain Marvel was not in this book. She was in the previous book for all of about 1 page at the very end. But she made no appearance whatsoever in this issue of Guardians of the Galaxy. So, maybe next issue. Apparently she's going to be the one that's going to end up saving half of the Guardians anyway. Okay. So, other than that, looking over the lie on the cover, it was a really good book. I would definitely recommend it.
Yep. Okay, Original Sin DeadPool issue number 29, and it made like 1 or 2 panel references to Original Sin about the whole Watcher being murdered.
And that's it?
Yeah, only 1 or 2 panels really, because in the first story, like in the beginning, it talks about DeadPool and his wife, just like being together and everything, and then they fight against Dracula, which was a pretty interesting fight scene. Show some pages, like right here. Like really, that was about it, and it was like a really intense fight. Then
not a fan of the artwork.
Yeah, the artwork's like a little bit kinda. Then DeadPool actually finds out that he has a daughter, which was kind of a little ironic, because I never actually knew he had a daughter. And then there's this big talk scene he has with Dazzler, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And basically it's just about, how she used to be like, you know, back in the day with all the bands, because it talks about the time travel, which, you know, was that, and he, you know, he says, you know, you used to be a vampire killer and everything, and now you don't do that anymore. Like, you want to know why she doesn't do that, and she just says, you know, she just doesn't want to do it anymore. Like, basically, he asks her to help him defeat Dracula. Oh yeah, and this is
yeah, again with the reference of Dazzler's really Mystique.
X-Men, yeah.
Mystique is everywhere now, apparently.
So basically, she declined to help him with that. And then this page right here is where it talks about just, you know, the Watcher has been murdered and that whole thing in Manhattan where we read recently. So then that happens. Then when that big huge explosion happens, there's been lots of time flashbacks with you know, DeadPool and everything, and then he goes back in time to talk with Dazzler about what she knows about vampires in order for her to go back with him to the present, and it's a whole mix-up. I mean, it was okay really, but I'm telling you right now, I think when we're done with Original Sin, I might have to drop it, because the only reason why I wanted to try DeadPool was just because to see how the character is, but now just going back to, oh, now I gotta see why she stopped being a vampire killer with old no. If it starts getting a little blah, I'm just gonna just throw it away.
So time travel, you say? Well, in Avengers 30, time travel is also going on.
Oh,
thanks
boy.
to the time gem from the Infinity Gauntlet.
Oh, okay.
They're jumping forward. Captain America and crew are jumping forward in time. This issue is 48 years into the future, and you still have Tony Stark and his robots versus Captain America and his Avengers, which are Hawkeye, Starbrand, Thor, Black Widow, and Hyperion. However, they figure out that they are 40 years in the future, and they actually come face to face with the Avengers of 48 years from now, and they actually meet up with Clint. Apparently, Hawkeye survives 48 years later,
oh, wow.
and he's a lot older. And he actually has a message. He actually remembers this whole time traveling thing, and actually gives a message to Cap. First, he gives a message to them that they're going to be jumping forward, further forward in time as time moves forward, and the further forward they go, the less welcome they're going to be on Earth. And then he whispers something to Cap. We don't know what he whispers to Cap yet. And then he has a message for Tony, and yeah, he basically tries to beat the crap out of Tony Stark, saying, it's your fault. You know you could travel back in time now with that little temporal thing in your hand. Why don't you just do it? This way you could stop the incursion, or the stop the whole thing from happening. And he just closes his fist, and they move forward in time again. And now, instead of being 48 years, they are 422 years into the future. And Tony Stark once again followed forward, so he wasn't even willing to travel back in time using his.
So they're going forward in time instead of.
So I don't know why Iron Man chose not to go back in time to the present day to fix whatever apparently is about to go on, but I'm shocked that they did that. But it's interesting to see how the Avengers are going to be jumping forward into time until something happens, and this still all connects to the original sin of the New Avengers against Cap.
Alright, All New Invaders, issue number 5. And in this story, it gives a really good explanation of how Bucky didn't die after we thought that he got killed. And it actually has earlier where Captain America said that, you know, he wanted him to pretend to die because he has like skills and everything. So he had this like little antidote that you know, Bruce Banner had that controlled his Hulk transformation. So basically when they shoot him, he won't actually be dead. So yeah, so with that, they're just looking for the God's Whisperer to settle this fight that's going on. The artwork's amazing, by the way, where Icarus is finding Namor, Jim, and Captain America. And while that happens, Bucky's fighting Tanalith, if I'm saying her name right. And they're just trying to snap him out of it, you know, and even Jim tries, and he says that, you know, he's tried, but he can't do it. Then meanwhile, Captain America has a long conversation with the
Kree leader?
Yeah, the Kree leader, I can't remember what his name is, but about Ronan, like how surprised he would be to know how he is and everything. And if you wanted to see their dialogue, definitely read the book. And then Jim does a really good move that gives Captain America the advantage to take out the Kree leader, whereas Bucky and Tanalith come in, and then that's the God's Whisperer that helped out with Icarus's power to, you know, not be, like to get rid of what was controlling him. And then Captain America like tells Jim, you know, how unique he is because, you know, he really didn't think that he like belonged sort of way. Like it's just like a whole big thing that they had, and he welcomes him to the Shield. And the epilogue, let's just say it involves. I'm just gonna say this. It involves Galactus. You gotta read the book if you want to know what that's about, because I can't spoil that much. But guys, this is really interesting. Looking forward to seeing how that's gonna play, especially with Galactus in it. So yeah, good stuff.
Fantastic Four, issue number 5, the extra size 5th issue. And what this is a glorified run through of the entire Fantastic Four history, from beginning all the way through to present day. Except the Fantastic Four is on trial. Basically, they stand accused of all the damages and all the bad stuff that's gone on that they caused or they were a part of. From the Hulk to Mole Man to the, possessing the negative zone. So basically the Fantastic Four is being attacked for being the Fantastic Four. And while they saved the world 1,000,000 times, basically the government or whoever is accusing them or has them on trial, basically has them pegged as the bad guys, as the ones that are responsible for all the damages that basically they never were held liable for. And basically the last thing that happened in issue 1 of Fantastic Four, this volume, is what basically was the end game for them. And
oh, She-Hulk's there.
Yeah, She-Hulk is actually their lawyer. And a bunch of different artists are on this book. Let me see how many artists. We have Leonard Kirk, who's the artist. But there are several flashbacks. Chris Samney does flashback from Fantastic Four #1. Thing vs. Hulk flashback is Dean Hapsel, and so on. There's a Submariner Invasion flashback, Inhuman flashback, Doom vs. Fantastic Four flashback, Galactus, Annihilus, and Ballstar. Basically, it's a rundown of their history. That's what it is, and it's just basically the government or whoever is accusing them saying that it's their fault for all the damages and all the problems that happened throughout their battles and their times as the Fantastic Four. At the end of the issue, ACS comes in and takes the children away from them, and Sue doesn't take it so well, and the children actually go into SHIELD care, but actually the person who's watching after them is Jim, the original Human Torch.
Oh.
And it ends with the next issue being Grim Times. So basically the Fantastic Four, I believe, is going to be disbanded or marked as a menace. The way that it was going was they were marked as a menace to humanity. No, not the Watcher, humanity. This has nothing to do with Inhuman. They didn't get into Original Sin yet. There's no Original Sin here. It's just they're being sued for all the damages and all the problems that have happened throughout their adventures as the Fantastic Four. And I find it very, very interesting. Can't wait for the next issue, but things just keep getting worse and worse. I mean, we knew to expect this from issue 1, but wow, how things got really bad really fast. Good job, James Robinson.
Thunderbolts issue number 26. Oh, it's getting so interesting. In so many ways, very interesting, actually. First off, it starts off where Carduba is and the gang they get killed by DeadPool while Samuel Stearns is pretending to be like on his good side still, because we know what he did in the last issue with the team. So here's some artwork, by the way. So basically, Samuel Stearns and DeadPool decide to go in the temple while Ross and Helen, they have like a long talk with each other, getting into this cave that they want to go into. Like basically, I think Manchesno. I think like this temple right here, and so then there's just like lots of death traps that Samuel Stearns tells DeadPool to watch out for, and he figures out what Samuel Stearns is all about, but let's just say Samuel Stearns gets him back, and I like the censored thing that they did with DeadPool right here with the middle finger. I thought that was funny. So then we get to the part where Helen turns into this thing right here, which, yeah. And there's just like a whole big dialogue where Manchesno, yeah, it is Manchesno, yeah, that he talks to him about, you know, himself and everything, and Samuel Stearns tries to get something that he's wanted, which was mind-blowing for him, if you get the reference when you read the book. And he just, Manchesno's like saying, you know, you got a team together, and they either disbanded or you got them killed. He's basically telling him he's not a good leader, in short of the long dialogue. And then they just go back in time, and it just says the end of this. So I'm guessing, so I'm guessing the new story arc is, what if the Thunderbolts went in that direction, and what would happen?
So instead of all them dying,
it was all basically a what's that thing?
What if?
A simulator or whatever. But
one path they could have taken, basically.
Right, but it just went the whole different way. But it was good nonetheless, and I don't know if it means the end for that or if it's going to be a new story arc, but looking forward to seeing some stuff. It's book of the week, basically, with all the story and stuff.
Last book for this week, and it is Giant Size Spider-Man for the new volume, volume 3, issue one-shot. It's a one-shot. It says one, but it's a one-shot. Do you need this book? No. Is it a nice little add-on for Spider-Man fans, especially that Peter Parker's back now? Yes. However, it's not Peter Parker in present day, it's Peter Parker in school. He's still a kid. The first story arc, the very first story arc, is all about how he became Spider-Man again. It basically recaps Peter Parker being weak, and then the whole incident with the spider. No, they did not throw Silk into this, but Pete becomes the Amazing Spider-Man, as we all know. Uncle Ben dies, and Pete promises to be a better person.
This story like
a million times, yes.
Time already.
Then the next story is Pete or Spider-Man versus Vulture. It was an interesting scene. It turns out that Uncle Ben had some money. Basically, there's a foreclosure on May's house, but Uncle Ben had another account, and this is where Pete finds out that he could take pictures for the Daily Bugle and make money off of it. The next story is about Dr. Octopus. It's actually in 2 parts. End of part 1 here, and then it goes right into part 2, where it's Spidey versus Doc Ock. That's basically it. The following story is Spider-Man versus Sandman. However, it's Sandman who attacks a school. Artwork is really, really good in this this last story. And Pete seeing a guidance counselor who's basically counseling him because his aunt's worried, because throughout all of these stories, Pete's either locked himself in his room or he's gone off, and, you know, Aunt May doesn't know what to do with him anymore. She's afraid she's losing him. And the last page actually has Pete, you know, thanking his Aunt May and promising, you know, he's never going to let her down. He's always going to be there. And he actually says, I'm even going to go back to see the psychologist next week again. So he's actually, you know, he realizes that he's been running, or how did he put it? He's been he's been pushing his responsibilities on the side, and like Uncle Ben said,
with great power comes great responsibility.
I can't expect you to take care of me anymore. We have to be there for each other, and that's when he basically says, you know, I realize what I'm doing. And
well, that's a nice add-on of Peter Parker's story, like you said.
It's a nice story, but it carries a $5 price tag, along with Fantastic Four, which, because it's a double-sized issue, they claim it's a $5 issue. So, do you need it? Do you have to have it? No. If you're a Spider-Man fan and you like reading stories of Peter Parker Spider-Man, then yes, you definitely will enjoy this book. I would definitely recommend it. So, it just depends on your taste or how much of a Spider-Man fan you are. For me, this is a definite enjoyment to read. For you guys, maybe not so much. Maybe you're not a really heavy Spider-Man fan, so you don't need this book. This has nothing to do with current continuity. This is back when he was in school. Nothing important to current day stuff. It was nice seeing him face Sandman, Vulture, and Doc Ock in classic stories, but that's it. You don't need it, but if you want it like me, you'll end up getting it. And with that, guys, that's it for the Marvel review for this week. Don't forget to check out comic-related, Comic Frontline, and Zone4Podcast.com. Together, we are your #1 source for comic-related news, reviews, and a whole bunch more. And until next time, everybody, keep reading, keep collecting, and we will see you guys. Feel free to leave in the comments below likes, dislikes, agree, disagree, and your comments will be heard on this Friday's weekly comic book haul.
Yes.
See you guys then.
Later,
in
guys.
the next review.